Hey, everybody, this is Chief Jules Strongbow, and you're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
For those who don't know, now you know, baby. This is Hot Rod Biggs, Jared, Jimmy Street. We're going to take them to the limit one more time, baby, right here on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome one more time to the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast, and it's me, your host, Jimmy Street, as always, and today we have an excellent episode. It is Chief Jules Strongbow Part 2. That's right. We've got a whole lot of stuff planned for Jules today. Cannot wait to get to it, and of course, the reason Jules is here is to promote the Captain's Corner Portland Wrestling Expo 2, and again, you all know that's Saturday, February 21st, Holiday Inn, Portland Airport, 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland, Oregon. Join Jules, Paul Ellering, Ken Patera, Dave Sullivan, Joey Jackson, and so many more stars. Lynn Denton. It's going to be a great time, and y'all better not miss it. So be there, be square, and tell them Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling sent you. Of course, talking about Captain's Corner, we can't leave out the last episode, and that was our friend John Richmond, a.k.a. Eli the Eliminator, a.k.a. Mad Max. Whether you call him Eli, Max, or John, he's a great guy, and we greatly appreciate the chance to get to meet him. Quinton and I had a fun interview with him, and we hope y'all enjoyed that. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go check that one out. All right, next up this weekend, it is Gideon's Warriors. Guys, you've heard us talking about it since last year. It's a night of pro wrestling stories and testimony of God's grace and mercy. Our friend Pastor Rick Reynolds and the boys, Shane Morton, Ben Jordan, and Shawn Shultz are all going to be there this Sunday, January 18th at 7 p.m. at his house Ministries, 4909 Highway 43, Summertown, Tennessee. Y'all are going to have a great time and get filled up with the Spirit, and tell our buddy Pastor Rick Reynolds we said hey. All right, y'all, that's all I got for the open today. Stick around for Chief Jules Strongbow Part 2. The Sheik and I will be right back after these messages on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling. Gideon's Warriors, a night of pro wrestling stories and testimony of God's grace and mercy. Come hear Pastor Rick Reynolds, who you may know as Damien or Forsaken, Shane Morton, Ben Jordan, and Tommy Phillips, aka Shawn Shultz, as they share their experiences in pro wrestling and their personal walks with God. It's all going to be on Sunday, January 18th, 2026 at 7 p.m. at his house Ministries, 4909 Highway 43, Summertown, Tennessee. Everyone is welcome. Do not miss this one-time event.
Hey, this is Pastor Rick Reynolds of His House Ministries in Summertown, Tennessee. I'd like to do a personal invitation to everyone to come see us on January 18th, 2026 at 7 o'clock.
Hey, my name is Tammy Reynolds. I am the wife of Forsaken Rick Reynolds, that super cool guy that everybody knows and loves. And I represent West Side Sauces. I make sauces, I bottle them, I seal them, I sell them. I have a hot honey sauce, I have a sweet sauce, I have a hot sauce, I have a white sauce that's so yummy you can use it on everything. They are absolutely amazing, and I'm so proud of them. We make them from scratch. So go on our website, westsidesauces.com, check out our products, read about our story, and go online and order you some of these yummy sauces. And Rick actually uses all of the sauces because he is a die-hard smoker and griller, and so he likes really good sauces and rubs, and I make them, so how convenient is that for him? Go on our website, westsidesauces.com, order you some samples, and I think you'll thoroughly enjoy them. Thank you guys. Be blessed.
All right, we are back with one more episode of the Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling podcast. And Jared, since the first time we had him on last year, it's been something that I've wanted to get him back on. And, Nick offered us this great opportunity to get a part 2 with Chief Jules Strongbow. Chief, it's great to have you back on the show today, sir.
Hey, glad to be back.
Absolutely.
Anytime you want to talk to me, you can even just go around Nick and just call me.
Oh,
awesome.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
And we'll set up something and we'll talk some more after we get done here today.
That sounds
just so
awesome.
you don't have to wait for somebody to steer you to me. You could just call me and we'll set it up.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for that. But to say that thank you to that is awesome, but also to celebrate this, you were going to be in Portland at the Portland Wrestling Expo 2 with our buddy Nick in Captain's Corner. We were just talking about him. Saturday, February 21st, the Holiday Inn Portland Airport, Portland, Oregon. Are you excited to go back to Portland?
Oh, always. When I left Portland, it was 1984.
Okay.
March, it was the summer of '84 because I had been picked to go on a tour of the Middle East for WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And so I left Portland, and it was the summer.
Yeah.
But one thing about Portland is the fans out there are just unbelievably great.
Yeah.
They're very dedicated wrestling fans, and anybody going out there, from the business, from wrestling, will tell you Portland is one of the greatest places to go because of the fans out there.
Yeah. And they have great wrestling. They have a great wrestling history, 100 years or more. Don Owens, so many, great names. Buddy Rose. I mean, come on, Lynn Denton, the grappler. I mean, there's just so many names out there. And I know you're one of them, and it's very exciting. And we're going to get to Portland in a little bit, but we always start every show with the first question, and that's the Plastic Sheik. So take it away, Sheik.
All right. So since I didn't get to take part in part 1 of this, you didn't get my favorite question. I'll still like to start out with everybody. If you had 4 or 5 names, you can call it a Mount Rushmore of wrestling, people you like to work with, you were inspired by, just whatever, or just people you've admired in the business. If you had 4 or 5 names, who would be on that Mount Rushmore?
Number 1 and number 2, Nick Bockwinkel, Ray Stevens.
Oh, man. Yes.
Yeah.
Number 3, because of his knowledge and because of his work, I'm gonna say, and this is gonna sound kind of off the wall, but Jake Roberts.
Yeah. Love Jake.
The man was fantastic on the mic, fantastic in the ring. And then let me think. I'm gonna say, Nick, Ray, a man who ended up being a good friend of mine, Lou Thez. Pat O'Connor, and kind of somebody who didn't want me to get into business, but I went around him and did it anyway, was Vern Gagne.
Oh.
Yeah.
I had written a letter to him about going to his camp, and he said he only runs camp for special occasions, and he doesn't run it on a continuing basis, and I should go find a better job to get into. Well, I didn't listen to him.
We're glad you didn't listen to him, so.
Some people, they inspire you by being negative in the direction you want to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
They, for lack of a better expression, piss you off. And then you say, now I'm going to do it.
Now I'm going to show you.
Yeah.
Great list.
But number 1 and number 2 on the list, and I will tell anybody everywhere, are Ray Stevens and Nick Bockwinkel.
Yeah, I think that's that. I think that you can't even argue that. Yeah, there's no arguing that. So one of the questions we didn't get to last time is one that I think is kind of interesting. So in May of '81, you show up in Leroy McGurk's Tri-State Wrestling, and you were there about 10 months. How did you get there, and how did you enjoy working for Leroy?
I was wrestling out of California, out of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And they started decreasing my bookings for whatever reason. And there's a reason, but we're not going to discuss that over the phone.
Sure. Okay.
But anyway, I was out there, and my bookings started getting less and less and less. So I sent pictures and a letter to the Tulsa office, to Leroy McGurk and Dorothy, and at the time the booker was Skandor Akbar.
Mm-hmm.
And about 2 weeks after that, I called and I was just pushing. And I called and I talked to Scan, and I said, I just want to double check, see if you got the pictures I sent and the letter. And he goes, Frankie, he says, this is weird because I was just getting ready to call you. And I said, oh. He said, yeah, we want you to come in. I went, oh, okay. He said, how soon can you be here? I said, well, I should give a 2-week notice. And he says, how's your bookings been? I says, getting less and less. He says, just leave. So that's when I went to Tulsa.
Okay.
And I just went in there, and everything worked out right. And working for Leroy and Dorothy was absolute great.
Okay.
And then at one point, they called me to the office. I believe it was on a Monday or something. I went in to pick up my check, and they called me in the office, and Dorothy says, you think you could run one of our shows for us? We're going to do a double shot on Saturday. I says, what do I need to do? She says, mainly the thing is, we'll give you the contract and what we expect to come back and stuff like that. And we'll give you the lineup and everything and tell you what we want. I said, okay. So now all of a sudden, not only am I working there, I in effect become part of the office. I was running their second shows.
And that's awesome. Yeah.
So anyway, everything went great. I thought it was absolutely fantastic. My only downturn or whatever you want to call it was they sold the territory back to Bill Watts and opted to retire. But at the same time, I was getting ready to go to New York.
Right.
And that was about 3-4 months, 5 months before they closed up, and Snuka came in, Swede Hansen came in, and we set that territory on fire. I mean, we were selling out 5 and 6 nights a week.
That's awesome.
And we just exploded the territory.
Yeah.
And they shut it down, and I went on to New York.
Yeah. And so now you're in the WWF. It's June of 82, and you guys are working Mr. Fuji and Mr. Saito for the belts. And for 4 months, y'all chased them. Then, yeah, they finally put the belts on you.
Yep.
What were the memories of those matches?
Number one, for somebody who at the outset of a career had no expectations of going there, of ever going to the WWF. No belief that I could get there. All I wanted to do was work and wrestle.
Yeah.
And things worked out where good things happened to me and some really great things happened to me. But going there the first time you go to the Garden as a wrestler is scary.
I'd say so.
I don't care how many matches you've had in your life. The first time you go to wrestle in Madison Square Garden, it is scary as hell.
Oh, man.
Because that is the ultimate venue, not only for wrestling, but basketball, other sports too.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
even concerts and stuff.
Yeah.
Entertainment. You know, that's the ultimate. When you get to the Garden, that's like going to Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah.
You know, if you're a violinist and you're going to Radio City Music Hall, you've reached the top of the box there.
Right.
But it was fun. The thing is, I enjoyed what I was doing, and of course, like I said, I was scared to death to go to the Garden that first time.
No doubt. I mean, what would you compare that feeling to?
War.
Oh wow. Okay.
Terror.
Yeah, got you.
You know, but once you get there, like the night we got there, we got there early, and I went out to look at the Garden. There was nobody in the building. We'd gotten there early in the evening, you know, and I went out to look at it and just to see it. And I'm thinking to myself, here's this Indian kid from Tigerton, Wisconsin, who is now going to be in the semi-main event in Madison Square Garden in New York City, in the biggest promotion in the business.
Mm.
So I went and looked at the building, and I walked back, and Jay says, "Where were you?" I said, "I just went out to look at the garden." He says, "What'd you see?" I said, "It's big." He says, "Go back out there. Take another good look, and then come back." So I did. I walked back out there, and I looked, walked out by the ring, and turned around, and I walked back, and he goes, "What'd you see?" I said, "That's a big building." He goes, "Jewel," he says, "it's just another big building we work in. Get rid of the fear. It's just another big building." I didn't get rid of the fear till first time I locked up in that ring.
Mm-hmm.
Is when the butterflies and everything went away.
Yeah.
Because all my focus was on that match.
Mm.
But, chasing Fuji and Saito till they put the belts on us, absolute fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I'd say those guys are very fun to to be around. If well, maybe if they're ribbing you, it's not. But
well, here's something funny. I learned very early how to control Fuji.
Okay.
Hmm.
A lot of people didn't realize it or didn't know it, but Fuji had extremely ticklish feet.
Oh, man.
And I leg locked him in the middle of the ring, and it wasn't at the Garden; it was someplace else. And somebody screamed, "Tickle his feet!" I went, So I started tickling his feet, and he went apeshit. I mean, he went nuts, screaming, "Stop! Stop! Stop! Stop!" Screaming, "Stop!" But okay, so I kind of let it go. Let it be known that I know how to control Fuji. He pulls ribs on me. He's going to get it. I'm gonna take care of him. I'll make him piss himself. He never did pull a rib on me. Never.
That's awesome.
Never.
You found his kryptonite.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
So in early '83, y'all started working with the Wild Samoans, and then in March, early March, you all dropped the belts. For them. Any memories of working the Samoans?
Oh, it's fun. It is fun. It was fun.
We looks
had the
fun.
biggest fun time. Yeah. We had the biggest fun time you'd ever want to be in. And to understand how the business was, you had to actually be part of it to understand the guys.
Mm.
You had guys who just loved to work. Who you could have paid them $2 and they'd have still got in there and done the same thing.
Right.
You could have paid them $2 million and it would still been the same thing. I was one of those guys who just fell in love with the business, with the work. And very early in my career, I said, when this starts turning to work, then it's time for me to start thinking about calling it quits.
Yeah.
Because if it's not fun, you're not taking care of yourself. You're not taking care of the promoter. You're not taking care of guys you work with, and you're definitely not looking out to take care of the fans and the agreement you have with the fans, be it unspoken, unwritten, whatever, that you're there to do what you do. So, working with the Samoans was absolutely fun. We laughed more than we did anything else. It was just that easy. It was just that much fun.
Yeah.
So for the next few months, you all kept on working them. Was there any talks of swapping the belts back, or
no? And when I went in there, when I went to New York, I was originally told by Vince McMahon Sr. that I was coming in as a single, and that he was going to do something. They were going to do something with me that they had never been done in the business.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just said, okay. But when I got to New York and Jay was there, he called me in the office. He said, listen, he was starting to run shows with somebody else, and I had to put a stop to their business. He said, I had to bring him in. We're going to do your run. We're going to do this run. He says, then you're going to go out for 4 to 6 months. Then you're coming back. And then we're going to do what I originally planned to do with you.
Okay.
So anyway.
Makes sense.
Went through the run. I went to Portland. And while I was in Portland, Vince McMahon Sr. passed away. And everything changed.
Yeah.
Hogan came into the being. Junior took over WWE. WWF turned it into WWE. everything changed. So I knew whatever Vince McMahon Sr. had planned for me was now out the window.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, there's a bit of a glimpse in what Vince had planned for you with this, because the next few months you got 8 intercontinental title matches with Morocco. How was working with him?
I never, believe it or not, I never got to work with Don.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, never did.
Okay.
Jay might have got to work with him, but I didn't get to work with him.
Okay. All right. Did you work Ivan Koloff in the Garden?
Oh, yeah.
How was that?
Let me tell you about the match with Ivan Koloff.
Yeah, please.
We went through the match. I go back to the dressing room. Match is over. Ivan and I, exchange words, and I'm sitting there taking my boots off, which is no big deal because my boots just slipped off. And the door opens, and I see Vince McMahon Sr. standing there, and he takes his finger and he waves his finger at me, and he calls me out in the hallway and down the hallway. And he goes, Jules, he says, I just watched. He said, I've been a promoter in this building for 40 years, give or take. He said, I just watched your match with Ivan, and I seen one of the finest matches I have ever seen in this building, you two. He said, I just wanted to tell you thank you, because that match was unbelievable. So, working with Ivan was fun.
Yeah, what a great guy.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and I guarantee I didn't know him anywhere as close as you did, but I'm just saying, as a fan, he was a great person. You know what I mean? Yeah. So, what is it about him and their history with him? What do you think it is?
Ivan?
Yeah.
Focus and dedication.
Yeah. He was just so good.
When it came to work, you couldn't ask for a more focused and dedicated man than Ivan Koloff.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Just a perfect wrestler. He's one of those guys that was just made to be a pro wrestler. It's awesome.
Yep.
Yeah, you look at him and his size doesn't scare you, but just his look scared. Like
the intensity.
Right. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I met him once in a Walmart in North Carolina, and he was the nicest person in the world I've ever met. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
I got to tell you a story.
Please.
I'm wrestling Ivan Koloff in Glens Falls, New York. Go through the match. Boom, 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 boom. Match is over. We go back to the dressing room. He gets back in the dressing room. And he's sitting there and he's out of breath. And one of the other guys goes, "What's the matter with you, Ivan?" Ivan says, "He's out there, done something, and this kid, Frankie, Jules there, he boom, 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 and he's right back at me. Done something else, and boom, 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 he's right back at me." He said, "He blew me up." Now, for Ivan to say somebody blew him up, it's got to be one of the greatest compliments you're going to get, because that man was in shape.
No doubt. Yeah.
And one of the most in shape people you're going to find was Ivan Koloff.
Yeah. Man, I miss him. I didn't know him like you did, but man, I miss him. Just the idea of that type of wrestling is just, I don't know.
You're listening to Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling, and we'll be right back after these messages.
Back by popular demand, the Portland Wrestling Expo 2 returns to the Holiday Inn Portland Airport on Saturday, February 21st. Already announced our WWE Hall of Famer, The Godfather, the legendary manager of the Road Warriors, Precious Paul Ellering, Scott Flash Norton, the world's strongest man, Ken Patera, Hustler Rip Rogers, and Portland legend, The Grappler. More announcements to come in the weeks to come. Tickets start as low as $25, so head on over to pwexpo.com to reserve your tickets now.
So this is kind of the moment in the interview that we've been building to in Portland. So in, what is it, a little bit later in 83, August of 83, you show up in Portland, and you how did that come about?
Before I ever left New York, I had set it up to go to Portland with Don Owens. And so I left there, and I left New York in June, and I had July and August. In August, I was due to start in Portland. But it had been set up, and I was going to go to Portland. I was going to be there for 6-8 months. Originally, then I was going to go back to New York.
Mm.
Like I said, when I was in Portland, Vince McMahon Sr. passed away and everything changed. So it didn't work out.
Yeah.
Would you say that like people felt it right away, like when Vince Sr. passed away, or were people kind of like, what's going to happen now?
Yes to both questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
A lot of the boys felt it really hard, and the next question was, what's going to happen now?
Mm.
But a lot of guys knew that Junior was buying the territory from his dad when this all started. So it was kind of, but it was still, well, what's going to happen now?
Yeah. I bet that was a surreal time,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So at this point, you would work pretty much, everywhere, basically. How would you compare like Portland to the other promotions you'd work for?
Let me see. I worked for Kansas City. That was an era of learning when I first started working full time.
Mm-hmm.
Kansas City was a learning experience. I had originally went to Pensacola, Florida, and was working that territory, and that lasted about 6 weeks because I was starving to death.
Mm.
I called Minneapolis, who was kind of in control of my career at that point, and Wally Carbo says, "You come on home." He says, "You can't live down there if you're not making any money."
Yeah.
And then I go home. I come home, and you're going to go to Kansas City. Little did I know that Vern Gagne and Wally Carbo had got in touch with Bob Geigel and Pat O'Connor and Harley Race and those guys who were the promoters in Kansas City, who were the owners of that promotion. They said, we're going to send Frankie down there. We want you to make a star out of him. And Geigel says, we've been beating this guy on TV for 2 years. How are we going to make a star out of him? Vern says, all it takes is one match to change the direction. You make a star out of this kid.
Yeah.
And he'll draw you money. So that's what happened. Then I went from there. They asked me to do a shot in Los Angeles. Another story about me going to Los Angeles. So I went to Los Angeles. I got up there. I'd done the one shot and was getting ready to go back. And Mike LaBelle says, hey, is there any chance we could keep you out here?
Mm.
And that's how I ended up working out of Los Angeles for Mike LaBelle. And from there, that's when I went to New York.
Yeah. Yeah. So you were in Portland for about 8 months. And of course, this whole episode's really about the Portland Wrestling Expo. So I kind of want to do like a Portland name association because you work some great stars out there. We'll do a little quick, we call it the name game. So DJ, hit the music.
Now it's time to play the name game. Now it's time to play the name game.
All right. So, so with a Portland name game, I got to start because it looked like this guy's name was basically from the start of your time in Portland till the end. Mean Mike Miller. Tell us something about Mean Mike.
Good wrestler.
Yeah.
Good wrestler. I was working a match with him. He went to do something in a match, and where the hell was it? Eugene? Salem? And he slid between my legs and broke his ankle.
Oh, ouch.
But he's a good worker, good wrestler.
Yeah. He looked like a Mean Mike, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked like a Mean Mike cowboy.
Yeah. Okay, well, what about Maniac Matt Bourne?
You said it. I never worked with Matt at all that I can remember.
Okay.
But if you know Matt's history, Maniac, you said it all.
Yeah. Did you know his dad at all, Tony?
No.
Okay.
No.
Yeah. All right. This guy is one of our, we like to watch this guy wrestle. Al Madrill. What about him?
In my estimation, Al Madrill is and I'm putting him at number one. Al Madrill is the most underrated wrestler in the business in the last 100 years.
Wow. I couldn't agree more, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's it. Great to hear.
Yeah.
That's pretty awesome. Do you have any stories about Al?
you and I could sit here and talk for 2 days and never finish the stories about Al.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, you got one.
We used to travel. We used to travel together, and we're just good friends. We enjoyed each other's company, I guess.
Yeah.
But unbelievable man. He could talk. He could work, and from my opinion, he's the most underrated wrestler in the business.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, we enjoy him as well here. Okay. What about Rip Oliver?
Easy to work with.
Okay.
Good man. Good man.
Yeah. Okay. Then what about Scott Ferris?
Scott Ferris.
Yeah, I didn't really know much about
I don't remember him too well.
Okay. So I saw you worked him a couple times. It wasn't a lot. What about Fidel Sierra, Cuban Assassin?
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Still active.
I even at one point recommended him to, and I would talk to Howard Finkel periodically when I was out there.
Mm-hmm.
And I told Howard, I said, you need to take a look at Fidel, Cuban Assassin. I said, there might be somebody you want to look at. And he goes, okay. And that's the last I heard of it, but I had recommended him.
Yeah. He's an incredible wrestler. Absolutely. Had a chance to interview him at one time and had a great time with that. These are two names that come up a lot, and you kind of have to say them together, even though they're two separate gentlemen, Tio and Tapu.
The twins.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good workers.
How would you compare them to Afa and Sika, though? Similar kind of gimmick.
It's two different directions.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Two different directions there.
Okay. This gentleman here, you would have met him at a very young age, Dr. Tom Pritchard.
I met Dr. Tom Pritchard in late '79 in L.A. when he first started working.
Mm-hmm.
That was if I remember right, L.A. was his first territory.
Okay. Yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think you're right, yeah.
Yeah, and you remember me talking about being scared when I went in the garden.
Yeah.
Tom Pritchard was scared every night of the week. to the point that he would puke on people.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
That's a rough one. Okay, so Doug Summers.
Doug Summers is an AWA guy.
Yeah, so you knew him.
So we knew each other. We knew how to work each other. We knew what we were doing because we both came into being in the same territory.
Right. Kind of cut from the same cloth, essentially. So.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. How would you what would you say about him in the ring as far as what would you say?
Very good.
Yeah. Again,
Very
cut
good.
from the same cloth. So.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When you're broke out of the same mold, so to speak, you had the same teachers kind of coming around. You tend to be that way.
That makes sense. Yeah.
He's not a bad guy in the ring. I don't know how he was outside the ring with other people and stuff, but in the ring, he was not a bad guy at all.
Yeah, okay. The next two names are pretty much synonymous with Portland wrestling. The first one we're going to say is Playboy Buddy Rose.
Paul Pershman, or Buddy Rose, is one of the reasons that I got a break, get into the business, because he didn't show up for a show, an independent show in Milwaukee, and some of the guys that were there said, hey, there's this Indian kid that's a pretty good wrestler. Why don't you put him in Paul Pershman's place and let him wrestle, because Paul Pershman didn't show up.
That's right.
Funny thing is, when they told me that, I told the promoter there that, hey, there's this Indian kid's a pretty good worker, they knew this was going to be my second match, period. So, because Paul Pershman didn't show up, I got a break.
Man. So Buddy's a guy you've enjoyed, even if you didn't run with him or even hardly talk to him much. You've always liked him.
Yeah, he's something else.
Yeah. Okay, well, you can't talk Portland wrestling if you don't bring up Don Owens. How did you like working for Don?
I loved it.
Yeah.
Working for Don Owens was like working for Vince McMahon Sr., a true gentleman.
I could see that, yeah, where you're talking about the end of the old, the end of the old ways, essentially. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
The true gentleman, He knew what he was doing. He knew it was a business, and he took care of it, and he tried to do the best he could.
Yeah.
Well, so in May of '84, you show up in World Class Dallas. So how did those bookings come about?
Same thing. When I was getting ready to leave Portland, I was going to go on a Middle Eastern tour, the first Middle Eastern tour for WWE, WWF, and I needed someplace to go, so I called Mantell down in Texas, who was the booker at the time.
Yeah.
About going in there. He said, "Yeah, come on down." I said, "Well, listen, I got this tour for WWE, and then I'll be able to come in." He says, "Okay, do that and come on down." So that's how that got set up for me to go to Texas.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was there for a while, and then they started. Then I started to see something, where I knew there was no way I was going to go to the top there, and the bookings started getting less. So that's when I started looking more at the independent market.
Okay.
But I knew I wasn't going to be going back to WWF because somebody was up there, put a bullet that was spreading lies about me.
Oh my gosh. Do you care to elaborate on that? I'm not asking you to if you don't want to, but
I don't care.
Yeah, well, lay it on us.
Because I know who was doing it.
Oh, okay.
It was a guy named Joe Scarpa.
Oh, your old buddy, huh?
Yeah.
Man.
And I done after the Massachusetts show, I done a podcast with Jerry Briscoe and JBL.
Oh, yeah. Great podcast.
And Jerry and Jack are both Indian. I mean, they're both card-carrying, enrolled Choctaw Indians.
Yeah.
And Jerry told me he would never talk to Jay or never call Jay by the name Jay Strongbow. He always called him Joe or Joe Scarpa.
Right, and that it's understandable. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, I explained a few things to them, and Jerry goes, "Okay, I see." But I had learned from other people that he was lying to Vince Jr. about me. But what he didn't know is that Vince knew that he was lying about a lot of other people. Joe Scarpa probably cost more people careers and money than he helped.
Yeah, Lee. I remember you telling us in the first episode about how Vince Sr. hired him back essentially just so he wouldn't run against him, just to keep him. Yeah.
With Killer Kowalski.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. It's like keep your friends close and your enemies closer, huh?
Yep.
Yeah.
And Jay didn't realize it, why Vince hired him back.
Oh, so he thought he had one over on Vince, but Vince actually had it all figured out.
Vince figured it out and put a stop to it, and he never realized what Vince was doing.
Oh, man. Don't play a player, man. That's what I'm telling you out there. So,
and I was telling Jerry Briscoe, I said, what happened when Vince Sr. told me I was coming to New York, and he goes, I know what he was going to do. He said, and the revenge of the man with the book can be done in very quiet ways, and that's exactly what he was going to do with you.
Jeez.
He was going to do it just to get back at Jay.
Man. Oh.
So back to Dallas just for a second. Do you have any stories about any of the Von Erichs or interactions or matches or anything like that?
We didn't run in the same crowds.
Right.
It just, I don't know why, but we just didn't run. I'm friendly with all of them.
Right.
But we just didn't run together. It just didn't work out that way.
Okay. Yeah. Who did you run with when you were down there?
In Texas?
Yeah.
Me. I kind of stayed to myself.
That's a running theme, actually, Jules. We've heard that a few times from other people that worked in Texas. They stayed to themselves. It's smart, I think. So.
Yeah.
I mean, you can trust yourself, right?
Yeah. You know, if I'm going to get into mischief, I don't need no help.
There you go. There you go.
You know.
Yeah.
Likewise, if I'm going to get in trouble, I don't need no help. I can do that shit all by myself.
Right, exactly.
I don't need 4 or 5 guys around there leading me down the road to ruin.
Yeah, that's funny.
We'll be right back with more Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling.
CHW is continuing the legacy of historic professional wrestling in Tennessee with monthly events at the Armory in Ashland City. CHW owner Mike Green has made it his mission to present the best pro wrestling shows in the Nashville area, and he has been delivering the goods. CHW Wrestling combines all the elements that Tennessee wrestling fans have come to expect. Action, suspense, athleticism, reality, stories, surprises, and excitement, all delivered by the finest professional wrestlers this state has to offer. Follow CHW Pro Wrestling on Facebook for the latest news, announcements, and show dates. And subscribe to Championship Productions on YouTube to see past events like the Ashland City Rumble and the Valentine's Massacre. Fun for the whole family with delicious and affordable concessions on site. Witness the action and excitement of CHW in Ashland City at the Armory. Family Wars, Love and Hate, Championship Gold. A CHW event is everything you're looking for in a night of live entertainment.
Then in summer of '85, you show up at Savoldi's ICW. You remember memories there?
No, it was just 1 or 2 shots for them. That's all I did.
Yeah, okay.
And then I started working with some guys that was setting up tours to the Middle East.
Yes, tell us about that. Very excited to hear about that.
Oh, it was fun. I don't care what anybody says, but Qatar, Oman, Bahrain, the United Arab Emirates are some of the most nicest places on earth.
Yeah.
Now, I tell you that because I'm going to tell you this. I was not looked at like the other wrestlers were by the people in those countries. And I asked one person over there, why I got treated different than the other guys. And they said, you're a Red Indian. Your people have gone through the same kind of struggles that our people here have, and we look upon the Red Indians as our brothers.
Okay.
I went, holy cow.
So they understand. They see you. That makes sense.
But you have to understand, I don't go out of this country and, put it bluntly, act like the ugly American.
Right, of course. Right.
You know what an ugly American is, right?
Oh, I do. Yeah.
That's a tourist who goes to another country and figures if they speak loud enough and slow enough that the people they're talking to will understand, and they have no respect for their culture.
Correct. They try to take America there, Yeah.
Don't do that.
Right.
Like I used to go to the Gold Souk in Dubai.
Oh, okay.
Gold Souk, buy jewelry. And I went to this one place, and it was up a side street, off the main drag, but up a side street. I went to this store because I was looking for a particular gemstone, iridole. And I went up there, and I got to the door, and I took my shoes off before I went in. And there was an old man there, and he called his son out, and he said something to his son. And the son says, would you like something to drink? Blah, blah, just something to eat, blah, 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 blah. And I went, no, I'm shopping. And the old man said something to him, and the son goes, why did you take off your shoes when you came in the door? And I said, it's my understanding that's a sign of respect. He said, and this is your culture, and I need to, as a stranger, respect your ways. I said, I was told to do that by a friend of mine who was from the Middle East, that that would show that I have some semblance of respect. He goes, you're the first foreigner that's come in this store in the past 5 years that's actually done that I can remember.
Wow.
So it was just, so I got treated different because of those little things like that than the other guys did.
Well, Jules, I'll tell you this. You can stay at my house anytime, brother.
All you got to worry about then is just keep the coffee pot hot.
I understand. We can do that. That's great. So the rest of your match listings has you working a lot of Northeast independents, and in the late 80s and early 90s, the Northeast independent scene was one of the best in the country.
Yep.
Do you have any good stories about those years?
Oh, the independents in those years, I'm going to say from about 86 to about 92, 93, was very hot.
Yeah.
And it could have blossomed into something better, but you had guys who were trying to promote matches who really didn't understand the business, and they hurt themselves more than they helped themselves.
Okay.
But they were going on the popularity of the business at the time, and actually, not doing too bad.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it was a good place because you got to work with people, that were, put it bluntly, hungry.
Right.
They wanted to be in the business. They just wanted to be a professional wrestler.
Yeah. Yeah. And so kind of following that up, in the early 90s, ECW, Eastern Championship Wrestling, was really starting to make some noise. Early on, They used a lot of the early 80s WWF stars. Did they ever talk to you about coming in?
Nope.
Okay.
Never did. And what's really funny is when Paul Heyman was first getting into the business, I used to help him a lot.
Oh.
There's a place in New Jersey called the Vince Lombardi Rest Area. And we used to do a lot of shows, independent shows in New Jersey and stuff. And every time on my way home, because at the time I lived in Connecticut, I would stop there to take a break, get something to eat, get a cup of coffee, and he would show up there. Can I talk to you for a minute? One night we got there about 11 o'clock. It was 4:30 in the morning when I left because he was there, and I was trying to help him learn about the business. What his part of the business was at the time.
Yeah. Okay.
And there was more than one or two times where Paul Heyman sat across the table from me, listening and learning. But then ACW never called me, never talked to me, nothing.
That's weird.
No big deal.
Yeah, right. I mean, of course. It's just interesting because it just seemed like a perfect match, actually. Sheik, the next question goes to the Plastic Sheik. Take it away, Sheik.
So as we, kind of get to the end of this episode, my favorite question to ask at the end, I like to ask the Mount Rushmore at first. My favorite question to ask at the end is, if you had to look back on your career and say, that was the favorite match I was ever a part of, what would that match be?
That would be Ray Stevens in the Garden, probably a month or two before I left there.
Oh, man.
And here's the reason why. When I was first breaking into business in AWA, Nick and Ray were my primary mentors in the AWA.
Yeah.
Okay? So I learned I'm working with Ray in the Garden. So I go to the dressing room and I said, Ray, listen, I don't want to embarrass you. I don't want to embarrass myself. I said, I definitely don't want to embarrass the guys at home. He goes, at home? I said, you know what I'm talking about. He goes, oh, okay, I got you. Meaning the AWA.
Yeah.
I said, I just want to have a good match, and I want to know what I'm supposed to do. He looked at me and he goes, Frankie, he says, we're going to go out there and we're going to steal the show. I said, listen and do what I tell you. We went out there, 27,500 people screaming the better part of 10, 15, 20 minutes, whatever it was. And I mean constant from the minute I set foot in the ring till the minute I walked away. 27,500 people blowing the roof off Madison Square Garden.
Wow.
Now here's the funny part. The World Champions match was the match after us. Okay?
Okay.
I'm sitting in the dressing room, and the door opens, and I see the finger come through and wave me out. Vince Sr. goes, hell of a match, guys. He says, what do you hear? And Ray and I looked at him, what do you mean? What do you hear? Not much. He goes, world champion is out there in the ring wrestling a match and there's no noise.
Ooh.
The people are going to the toilet, they're sitting on their hands, they're going to get hot dogs and popcorn and Coca-Cola, and there's no noise. He said, from now on, if you two are wrestling each other, or you're wrestling in a singles match and you're not wrestling each other, you go on after the world champ.
Wow.
He says, I cannot have you two guys stealing the show on the world's champion. And Ray looked at me, looked at Vince Sr., and he looked back at me, then he looked back at Vince Sr., and he says, maybe he shouldn't be world champion then. He just looked at him and kind of threw his hands up like,
Yeah.
But it took me a good 10 years after that to understand what he was saying.
Okay.
And when I told Briscoe the story, he goes, yep. He says, I know what he was going to do. I said, well, that's what I thought was going to happen. He says, you're right. That's what was going to happen. But it didn't. I know. But the match with Ray and Madison Square Garden, towards the end of my run there, is a match that is always going to be number one in my career.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
that's awesome.
Seriously. I mean, that is awesome to think about Ray Stevens. You think about him as one of the greatest of all time, and that's, you put him on your Mount Rushmore. That's amazing as well. And that just shows the respect you have for him and Nick as well. So,
yeah. Nick and Ray would sit down with me like in Milwaukee after the show. If I was wrestling, I would come back. Nick would be standing there. Come on, go sit down. We'd go through the match, second by second, what I'd done in my match. Do this, don't do that. Do this way, don't do it that way. Don't do this because it don't fit you, blah, blah, blah. Now, this went on constantly with Nick and Ray. Every time I worked and they were on the card. The guys got to the point, all the guys in the dressing room, I'd come back and it would be school time. But here's the addition to that. It wasn't only Nick and Ray. They were the primary. But everybody in the AWA territory had a hand in me being in the business. And I found out things later, along the line. I'd hear this or that, and it was just unreal, the support I had and didn't know about it in the AWA.
Yeah, man.
And one of the biggest supporters I had, who I never knew about it until later, was the Crusher.
Oh, man.
Guys like the Crusher, Larry Henning, Greg and Jim Wells, Billy Robinson was there, Aaron Von Roschke, Bobby Heenan. All of the top names in the business at the time had a hand in my career.
Yeah. God bless them all.
Amen.
Yeah. Well, another part of your career, as we got to talk so much about today, was the Portland wrestling area. And of course, on February 21st, you're going to be there, the Portland Wrestling Expo 2, Holiday Inn, Portland Airport. And of course, it's a who's who of stars there. I mean, you've got yourself, Chief Jules Strongbow, Gorgeous Joey Jackson, Top Gun, Hustler Rip Rogers, Precious Paul Ellering, The Godfather, Dave Sullivan, the grappler Lynn Denton, and of course our former guest as well, Ken Patera. All those guys and you all together. I think we could start a new promotion up, guys.
And don't forget Tommy Pritchard.
Of course, Dr. Tom. How can we forget Dr. Tom? Yeah. It's going to be a blast.
My only thing is, I wish he'd been able to get Al Madrill up there.
Yeah. Do you know where Al is? Is he doing okay? Or
from what I understand, he's doing okay. He lives in San Bernardino, and from what I was told, he really wants nothing to do with the business.
Gotcha.
But periodically, pictures of him show up on the internet, and people talk about him.
Yeah. Well, maybe one day, hopefully. But the important part, it's got you there. Yeah.
I'm going to put a bug in next year when I got him sitting across the table in Portland.
That's good.
I'm going to put a bug in his ear.
I like that. Do it. We need you, Al. Come on.
Yeah.
Chief, this has been awesome, sir. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, guys.
Well,
Thank you.
This has been an incredible part 2, and we can't wait to talk to you in part 3 when that happens, sir. So thank you.
Okay,
have a great time and make a ton of money in Portland.
I will do my best to do my best.
All right. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
Have a good day now. Stay out of mischief. Be safe. Stay warm. Stay comfortable and enjoy.
Yeah,
You
I
too,
appreciate
sir.
it. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, that was the one and only Chief Jules Strongbow for an awesome part 2. We'll be right back to wrap things up on Give Me Back My Pro Wrestling after these messages.
Hi, this is Mike Needham, host of the Reckless Abandon podcast with Mike Needham. We invite you to jump on your favorite podcast platform and search for the Reckless Abandon podcast and give us a listen. I'm sometimes joined by a part-time podcaster, part-time co-host, and full-time wife, Tiffany Nicole. We talk wrestling, we talk pop culture, we talk local events, local happenings in West Tennessee, and a ton of other stuff. But be sure to check out the Reckless Abandon podcast. Find us on Facebook. Also, look up the Microgroup Podcasting family on Facebook and see some of our other podcasts we have out there. Until next time, make good choices and always remember, no dollar, no dice.
Relive the glory days of Memphis wrestling with the Retro Wrestling Review USWA podcast. Each week, we go back in time to review USWA Championship Wrestling from the 1990s, episode by episode. Join us for watch-alongs, behind-the-scenes stories, and exclusive interviews with people who were there and lived it. Whether you grew up watching it or you're discovering it for the first time, this podcast is your ringside seat to Memphis wrestling history. It's all a part of the WrestleCopia Podcast Network. Listen now at uswapodcast.com.
Oh, gang, that was an awesome episode one more time. Chief Jules Strongbow Part 2. Thank you so much, Chief. What a great interview. Jules is a great guy. I know I said that, but he really is. I mean, he's one of the true, real dudes, man, and greatly appreciate him so much for coming on the show and sharing his story part 2 and opening the door for future episodes, which makes me so excited. Once again, Jules is going to be at the Portland Wrestling Expo 2 Saturday, February 21st. Holiday Inn, Portland Airport, 8439 Northeast Columbia Court, Portland, Oregon. Again, Paul Ellering, Kim Patera, so many of the people, Lynn Denton, all the people we've had on the show recently. Y'all go check that out for sure. One more time, guys. I know you're excited about it. Gideon's Warriors this Sunday, January 18th at 7 p.m. at His House Ministries, 4909 Highway 43, Summertown, Tennessee. Don't be late. You don't know what you're going to miss if you do. So y'all tell Rick we said, hey, thanks again. One more thing before we go, guys. We are at GMBMPW on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and X. Thank you guys for liking, sharing, subscribing, supporting, following, all those great things. But most importantly, like I always say, we just thank you for listening. If you don't mind, hit us up with a review. If you're listening to us on Apple or you listen to us on Spotify, they allow you to get 5 stars. Hit us with 5 stars. If you're listening on Apple, and I know at least about 40% of you are, hit us with a review. You don't know how much that would help us out, guys. 5-star reviews help us out tremendously. So thank you all so much. Next episode, I'm going to go ahead and spill it. This month in wrestling history with Quinton Quarisma, episode 7. And for this one, he's covering January, of course. I can't wait to hear what the middle winter months bring for wrestling. I'm very excited. Lots of New Year surprises, I hope. But anyway, thank you all so much for listening. So for Chief Jules Strongbow, for the Plastic Sheik, Jared Street, and myself, this has been Gimme Back My Pro Wrestling. We'll see y'all next time.
Don't forget,
Strongbow and Mike Miller proved one thing, that this thing has just started. This is just the beginning.
Stan, everybody here knows what has gone down between Miller. I've been blamed. I've been accused of breaking his leg on purpose. I was done deliberately. All these kind of accusations have been flying at the Indian. Now we've seen Mike Miller come out here tonight with some kind of leg brace on. Miller, you almost busted my head open. You almost fractured my skull. You almost broke my leg wrapped it around the ring post. Well, I'm going to tell you something, Miller. I'm going straight to Don Owens, and I'm demanding that I get this strap match with you right here in this ring. I've had it. I'm sick and tired of people like you and Rip Oliver, the Assassin, and anybody else this goofy clan wants to bring up. I'm going to tell you something, Miller. Starting right now, the war is on. The war paint's coming out. And every time you look, I don't care if it's Finley, Yakima, I don't care where it is. If it's in the parking lot outside, the ring in here, downtown in the park, on the bridge going across the river, in Vancouver, I don't care, Miller, but now the war has started, and the war paint comes out, and it's coming on, and it's staying on until you, Rip Oliver, the Assassin, and the rest of that stinking clan is repaid for everything you've ever done to me, and I break the other leg. You got that, Miller?
Very strong words on the part of Jules Strongbow, who has just issued a strap match challenge to Mean Mike Miller, and we will tell you more about it later on.
With a tear in my eye, this is the greatest moment in my life.
We'll see you next week. And until then, so long for now.
This has been a James Rock Street production.